when human color vision develops atypically. Color blindness and other variations in human perception offer fascinating insights into how our visual systems normally function and adapt when processing visual information differently. When colors change, color blindness and brain plasticity. What happens when someone's brain creates colors differently than most people? For about 8% of men and 0.5% of women, the world appears in a different color palette than what the majority of people experience. This variation in human color perception, commonly known as color blindness, isn't a flaw, but simply a different way that some brains process visual information. Color blindness occurs because of genetic variations that affect the cone cells in our retinas. Remember those specialized cells we talked about earlier? In people with typical color vision, 3 types of cones work together to detect different wavelengths of light. But for someone with color blindness, one or more of these cone types might be missing or function differently, creating a unique visual experience. When we talk about color blindness, many people imagine a black and white world, like an old movie. This misconception misses the fascinating reality. People with color blindness see colors, just different ones than people with standard color vision perceive. Their world is colored differently, but equally valid, based on different patterns of cone activation in their retinas. The most common form affects how people distinguish between reds and greens, occurring because of variations in either the L cones, red detecting, or M cones, green detecting. Because these genes are located on the X chromosome, men with only one X chromosome experience this condition much more frequently than women, who have a second X chromosome that can compensate for variations. Take Michael, for instance, a graphic designer who discovered his red-green color blindness in art school. When working on a project with color-coded data, what his colleagues saw as distinct red and green categories appeared to him as nearly identical shades of brown. He now relies on digital color-picking tools and labels his files with color names to ensure his work matches client expectations, though his personal experience of those colors remains uniquely his own. Different types of color blindness create different experiences. Someone with deuteranopia, green blindness, perceives greens often as more reddish or brownish. A person with protanopia, red blindness, sees red as more brownish or dark. Tritanopia, blue blindness, makes distinguishing between blues and yellows difficult. What's remarkable is how the brain adapts to these differences. For someone who has been colorblind since birth, their brain creates a coherent map of the visual world based on available information. Their experience of color is their normal, and their brain organizes this information effectively for navigating daily life. People with color blindness often develop alternative strategies for identifying colors when necessary. They might focus on brightness, texture, or position rather than hue. Someone who can't easily distinguish traffic lights might focus on positions. Top light means stop, bottom means go. They learn that grass is green and bricks are red, not because they see these colors the same way others do, but because they've associated objects with their culturally designated color names. The brain uses multiple cues beyond wavelength to determine perceived color. Context matters tremendously. People with color blindness become particularly adept at using contextual cues to make color judgments that match what others expect, even if their perceptual experience differs. Many don't realize their color perception differs from others until well into childhood or adulthood. Since we can't directly compare subjective experiences, it's impossible to know if what you call green looks the same to everyone. People with color blindness learn the same color names for objects, applying those names to their unique perceptual experiences. The differences become apparent only during specific color discrimination tasks. In some cases, color blindness offers advantages. Research suggests that people with red-green color blindness may better detect camouflage or see through certain visual clutter because they rely more on texture and brightness. During World War II, military forces sought out colorblind individuals for reconnaissance missions because of their enhanced ability to spot camouflage objects. Modern technology creates new possibilities for people with color blindness. Special glasses can help some distinguish between similar colors. Smartphone apps identify colors in the environment. Designers increasingly create colorblind-friendly visual information using distinctive patterns and brightness differences rather than relying solely on color. What causes color blindness and how does it affect perception? Missing or altered cone types create different color experiences, not an absence of color. The brain constructs a rich, colorful world, just one that organizes color space differently than the majority experience. This variation in how human brains process visual information produces equally real and valid colors, just different ones. The variety of color experiences within humans reminds us that perception isn't a direct window onto physical reality, but a construction, a useful model our brains create. The brain